Demons that look like clowns and schizophrenia? Let's talk about it. Now, for those of you who follow me on TikTok, I made two very interesting videos that a lot of you seem to like. One of the videos was on DMT and the spiritual aspects of DMT, and another video was about how some demons look like clowns. Let's talk about DMT. So, what is DMT? It is the world's most powerful hallucinogenic drug, and it's naturally found throughout many plants and animals. In fact, DMT is known as the spirit molecule, or the spirit drug. Throughout many ancient cultures, DMT, or ayahuasca, or other hallucinogenic drugs, was used as a doorway, a method to contact the gods and talk to the gods. But if you've read the scriptures, you know exactly who these gods are. DMT is a very real spiritual drug. They are not random hallucinations. When you take it, you do go somewhere and you do see actual entities. One of the most common things people see when on DMT is they go through a tunnel that often feels like a near-death experience, according to some people. One of the most common things people see, or common entities, are known as the court jesters, or machine elves, or DMT elves. They often look like this, and also this, and this as well. So these are not random hallucinations. It was that when people take DMT, they see these same type of entities. It can't just be a random hallucination. They're going somewhere and they're seeing something. They're talking to something. In the scriptures, the word that is used for sorcery is pharmakia. In the Greek text, the word used for sorcery was pharmakia. It's where we get words like pharmacy, pharmaceuticals, pharma. And in Greek, pharmakia could mean magic, sorcery, or witchcraft, enchantment, drugs, or medication. So in the Bible, DMT would be classified as sorcery, because this sorcery, DMT, is used by many cultures throughout the world to contact entities, or what they call their gods. But from reading the scriptures, we know that these things are not gods. They are wicked, evil, demonic spirits deceiving people. So DMT is sorcery. It's a very real thing. You see real entities and your spirit goes somewhere. Not just random hallucinations, because if it was random hallucinations, everyone who takes DMT would see different things. But they all see similar things. They go through this like tunnel, and then they get to this place where they see these like godlike entities or similar looking beings, such as machine elves, court jesters. Sometimes people even see clown-like entities. These are all wicked spirits. Demons look like clowns? Let's talk about it. Now look, I know this sounds wild and weird, but hear me out. To get a better understanding of this topic, check out the video I recently made on DMT and DMT spirits. Demons. Before understanding this topic, we need to learn about the origins of demons. Now in the 66 book canon of the Bible that we have, it does not talk about the origins of demons, which gets many believers confused. They end up confusing demons and fallen angels, but these are two separate entities. So we need to properly understand demons. The origins of demons is actually talked about in the Book of Enoch. And I know what some of you are going to say, oh, you can't use the Book of Enoch, it's not canon. Well, it's canon depending on where you go. In America, it's not. In Ethiopia, the oldest Christian civilization in the world, it is. In fact, they possess the world's oldest Bible, with over 80 books, compared to our 66 books. They have our canon plus the apocryphal writings, such as Book of Enoch, Book of Esdras, Jubilees. And these books, such as the Book of Enoch, were found with the Dead Sea Scrolls. These apocryphal writings were and are considered inspired. Also, the Book of Jude directly quotes from the Book of Enoch. Jude 1:14, and Enoch also, seventh from Adam, prophesies of these sayings, behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints. Now, the Bible says for something to be true, you need at least two witnesses. Nowhere else in the 66 book canon do you find another witness for Enoch prophesying. But you do find this witness in the Book of Enoch, which I believe Jude quotes from because it was in circulation during that time. Now let's get back to the origins of demons. According to the Book of Enoch, demons are the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim, the half-angel, half-human hybrids. Or in mythology, we know them as demigods. If you guys are familiar with the story of the Great Flood in Genesis, the flood wiped out the giants, the Nephilim. And when they were wiped out, this left their spirits to wander the earth. These wicked spirits helped the devil and his fallen angels by spreading the satanic kingdom throughout the world. Nephilim spirits, demons, torment and harass people, possessing, putting people in bondage of lust, schizophrenia, psychosis, tormenting humans. And one of the ways people have used to contact these entities is through the use of the most powerful psychedelic drug, dimethyltryptamine, or better known as DMT. I talked about these demonic spirits in my DMT video. That's why I made this video. Why do I think some demons look like clowns or jesters? In the scriptures, DMT would fall under the category of pharmakia, which is the word that's used for sorcery in the Bible, where we get words like pharmacy, pharmaceuticals. In Greek, pharmakia could mean magic, sorcery, witchcraft, enchantment, drugs, or medication. DMT would fall under the category of sorcery. By partaking in this drug, you can contact demons. New Agers like to call them spirit guides, ascended masters. Those educated on the scriptures, we know who these entities are, demons. Who partake in DMT, they often describe seeing similar entities. Jester clown-looking entities like this. like this. They're often described as having the appearance of jesters and clowns. Throughout the world, there are civilizations and tribes that dress up as jesters, possibly mimicking these entities, known as the scared Pueblo clown, the Pueblo natives in America. So yeah, that's why some demons look like clown-like entities. When people partake in these drugs such as DMT or other hallucinogenics, they often describe seeing a similar like entity, clown or jester-like looking being. And even Joe Rogan talked about seeing these entities on his podcast. He said sometimes they'll torment you, they'll taunt you, they'll flip you off, they'll yell at you. They're basically like little trickster, jokester spirits. So a lot of these tribes throughout the world, they dress up as these clown-like jester entities. I believe they are copying their gods, but for those of you who read the scriptures, you know they're not really gods, they're actually demonic entities. So maybe that's why a lot of people have a natural fear of clowns. I mean, where did the whole clown depiction come from? Where did we get that idea of what a clown looks like? Or for people who partake in drugs like DMT and mushrooms and other drugs, they see similar looking beings. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk about schizophrenia. And I know schizophrenia is such a very sensitive topic, and I mean no disrespect towards anybody. I am just trying to learn and understand more about schizophrenia and schizophrenics. Often the narrative we're told about schizophrenia is that these voices that these people are hearing are just illusions, they're just hallucinations, or it's caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain. And so they give all these medical drugs to kind of, I guess, tranquilize them. And a lot of these drugs never help in the end. It's just kind of silences these voices in their heads for a little bit, and then they end up coming back. But I believe these voices that schizophrenics are hearing are actual entities. Also a psychotherapist that would agree with me as well. But schizophrenia could be caused by all types of reasons. Like, for example, one of the reasons could be drug-induced psychosis. Another reason could be trauma, whether it's sexual or physical trauma. Another reason could be people who mess with the occult sometimes end up hearing voices, and they have bipolar disorder as well. And what's really interesting about schizophrenia is I actually follow this guy, and his name is Exorad Magical. So this guy has had schizophrenia for many, many years. What's really interesting about this guy, he is an amazing artist and video editor, so he's able to take his talent and really show people what he's seeing and what he's hearing. I'm going to show you a few clips of his sketches and what he sees, and also a schizophrenic simulator that he made of the faces and the voices.
At this point in my life, I have so many sketchbooks with so many visions that I've had while hallucinating of different faces, different things going on, all sorts of energy. A lot of hallucinations that I have are very circular and have a geometrical pattern starting from a one point out into multiple points, and that shape takes on in one dimension. Having schizophrenia and being out in public is a really weird situation. I was at the mall earlier and I was walking, and it's like the whole world feels like a dream. And I know I've been saying that a lot lately, but it's the only way I can really describe what it feels like. It's like I'm walking through the mall.
Look in the trees, you'll see me.
So he's seeing all these different faces, and they're all talking at once, like multiple voices, multiple entities. Sometimes it's hard to do normal things or go out in public because sometimes the voices get very overwhelming to him. I really applaud this guy for having the strength to talking about his experience with these voices, and the fact that he's able to use his amazing art skills to kind of show his audience what he's experiencing daily and maybe even help other schizophrenics understand better. And the last thing I want to mention is a psychotherapist, an interview I've seen with a psychotherapist. For a psychotherapist, his beliefs are very against the grain. He believes schizophrenia is a spiritual matter and not just a chemical imbalance like the narrative tells us. I'm going to read to you an introduction he has on his site, and I'll post all the links in the bio for you guys to watch. Jerry Marzinski. I am a retired licensed psychotherapist. I explore and write about the phenomena of non-physical beings that plague individuals and disrupt their lives. My research has led to methods of helping people come to terms with the malicious inner voices they hear, to show them what these voices really are. If 3 decades ago I saw an article labeled, "Demons are for real," I would have scoffed, "Oh really?" Now, after what I've experienced in my 35 years on the front lines with patients suffering from paranoid schizophrenia, there is no doubt in my mind that these entities exist. I've both seen and spoken spoken to them, and they are very nasty. So this guy is a real psychotherapist. He's been dealing with patients for more than 30 years, so he has a lot of experience. And he used to believe the narrative that, schizophrenia is just a chemical imbalance in the brain that has nothing to do with anything spiritual or entities. But after his experience with many patients, he realized that these entities, these voices, are very real. They are not just hallucinations, they are actual entities.
So he comes in, he sits down, and I said, well, what is it they have to say? And I'll never forget this. His voice tone changes just a little bit lower. And these words come out of his mouth. You have no right to interfere with our way of life. And I'm like, bam. And he said, that wasn't me. That wasn't me saying that. And I'm like, what the blazes is going on here? It was at that point, after getting all this other information for years, that my denial system, it was just hanging by tatters, completely collapsed. About that time, I was reading a book written by the shaman Miguel Ruiz, who was talking about these entities that enter people's minds and tell them bad things, and that they were energy parasites. Now, one thing I'd noticed was that every time these voices attacked a patient, their energy level would drop down to almost nothing.